All right. Hello again, and welcome to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for today's Summer Sampler Lunch and Learn, which is brought to you in part by South Sound Business Magazine. We are super, super excited that they chose to partner with us for this year. We are so happy to see the response that we've gotten to the Summer Sampler series. These free sessions that we are bringing this summer, most of which give you kind of a little bit of a preview of some of our classes and of course some of our excellent instructors. My name is Sarah Lynn Smith. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a program development manager here in the Professional Development Center at University of Washington, Tacoma. That means that I have the pleasure of working with both our potential students, our continuing students, and our excellent instructors on programs including, but not limited to, our Lean Six Sigma program. If you are not familiar with us here in the center, we are what is called a self-supporting unit, which means that we are focused specifically on delivering non-degree professional development programs, ranging from short webinars all the way up to full certificates and customized programming. And we do this as a kind of self-contained unit. Today's Lunch and Learn will be approximately 1 hour. And just in a minute, I will kick it over to our featured speaker. But I want to go through a few housekeeping items first. So as I mentioned, as most of you were entering, your microphones and your cameras are turned off by default, but the chat is open and we definitely encourage you to use that to communicate with the other attendees, with our speaker, and to ask questions that you might have. We are recording the session, and so that we can send it out to people who are not able to join us, send it out for people who were able to join us, but would like to forward it to other people to review the information, etc. Finally, we have also turned on what's called the auto transcription here in Zoom. If you would like to turn that off, you can find the little closed caption icon in your Zoom window. If you click that, there'll be an option to hide subtitle, and that will take the scrolling automatic transcription off of your screen for you, while leaving it on for anyone else in the meeting who may need it. If you do have any questions or you notice any issues as the session is proceeding, please go ahead. You can send me a private chat, or you can, send a chat. Hey, we can't hear Nathan anymore. Anything like that, just let us know. We will have a Q&A at the end, and I know Nathan has some other points where he's going to solicit some input from you all. But with that, I am going to kick it over to Nathan Navarro, who has been teaching for the PDC for 10 years, right, Nathan? Yep.
Yeah, a little over 10 years.
Yeah, primarily in our Lean Six Sigma program. So Nathan, it is all yours.
Okay. All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for taking your personal time to join us here today during our summer sampler, our little lunch and learn, so to speak. Again, my name is Nathan Navarro, and I'm an instructor here at University of Washington Tacoma Professional Development Center. So what we're going to do here, I'm really excited, by the way, of this specific topic, Lean Six Sigma and project management. And one of the reasons why, and I'll share a little bit more of the reasons why in a bit after we go through our brief introductions. But I'm really excited about this, try to capture the essence, because both disciplines, both practices are in depth, right? There's a lot of skills, there's a lot of tools and applications. So I did my best to capture the essence of the similarities, also the differences, and how they can complement one another. Okay, and we'll get more into the reasons why here pretty soon. But before that, just a little bit of background from my experience. So I've been in the continuous improvement practice for over 20 years, in addition with project management as well. So I've had the pleasure of working with manufacturing, public sector as well, also medical as well. And so a number of different types of industries, number of different types of services. And, you know, I'm still learning. I'm still learning. I learn more. So, especially in my dealing with adult learners, I love that. So what I'd like to ask, so that we can get kind of a roundabout of who's in attendance today, if you could please use the instant message and type your name, workplace, and position. So I'd like to take a couple of minutes to do that, if you will. Your name, workplace, and position, and then we may call out a couple of folks. So let's take some time to do that right now. And Sarah Lynn, the chat's turned on here. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see here. Maybe if you wouldn't mind calling out, let's see who we've got here. For some reason, I'm having a difficult time seeing the chats.
Yeah, I can do it. So as usual, we've got a bunch of people from state agencies.
Nice.
We've got Tacoma Public Schools represented. I've got some UW folks that I'm seeing in here. Multicare. Labor and Industries. Oh, hello, Cami Jones, who I noticed is I know her from registrations. I see.
Nice. I think she's in our black belt coming up in our black belt course, right? Nice.
UW Medicine. Food Lifeline, wonderful, doing wonderful work over at Food Lifeline. Department of Health, Insurance Commissioner, Kitsap County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. We're glad to have you here, Cami.
Nice.
Yeah, more Department of Health. So we got a wide range of folks here today. Or development professionals, performance coordinators, compliance managers. Let's see. Research investigators, business analysts, maintenance and ops. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So again, welcome everyone. And this is a journey we're about to go on. So let's go through our agenda real quick. So what we're going to be going through together is we're going to be going over project management overview at a high level, Lean Six Sigma overview. Also going to get into process improvement, project management and Lean Six Sigma comparison, the project management life cycle, Lean Six Sigma problem solving method, and how they work together. So I want to bring to you, based on my experience, my humble experience, when it comes from let's say, for example, a continuous improvement program rollout. There's different types of ways to roll out a continuous improvement. Let's say Lean Six Sigma. Some is in some approaches, they have a grassroots approach where the frontline employees, they start working improvement projects, right? I've also seen the traditional enterprise-wide level, right? That's your traditional approach for deploying a continuous improvement type program where you have a continuous improvement program, and it's the culture change is the focus along with projects. And then I've also seen some organizations where they'll use Lean Six Sigma as a project-based rollout, where you have an organization, you have leadership, and they have some big pain points within their services or within their products. And what they'll do is they'll pull on the tools or the resources of Lean Six Sigma to work on some projects to kind of alleviate this pain, right? And what I've seen and what I've personally experienced, and also with other folks, is sometimes there's this overlap between project management and Lean Six Sigma and or continuous improvement. It's hard to kind of see the distinction, right? So I wanted to shed some light on that today, because both approaches are very helpful to an organization, and it's great to see the similarities. It's great to see the differences, and also how they work together. Okay, so that's the meaning and the purpose behind this session that we're together. Uh, so, what is a project? You know, I've worked with all different types of businesses and services, and now here, oh, we're working this project. We got this project. We got this project. Sarah Lynn, if you can help me, if somebody can in the chat just briefly type down what's a project.
All right. Yes. So I will let you know when I see an answer come through.
What's a project?
So I've got a solution to a problem, ? And then I've got another person says anything that needs to be completed. Cami, being very specific, is specific, something with a specific beginning and end that has measurable deliverables. Someone else, Deborah, also echoes that with a venture that has a beginning and an end. Sarah says short term, something short term.
All great answers. And thank you, by the way, for participating. Even those of us that are kind of like, well, you know, I don't know if this is the right answer, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. So thank you for that. What is a project? A lot of you nailed it already, right? It's a temporary endeavor to create a unique service or a result. I heard a lot, it has a beginning and an end. Yeah, a project, it's a temporary endeavor that has a beginning and an end. Okay. My next question is, without looking in Google or using your smart devices, I'm asking you to just tap on your own experience and your own gray matter, so to speak. What percent of projects fail? Right? I'm interested in seeing what percentages you come up with.
All right, I want to get a couple more in here and then I'll. Oh, good question. Kirsten asks, define failure.
Okay.
So what do you mean by failure, Nathan?
Yeah. So what I mean by failure is not meeting the requirements of what's been asked from the person or entity to deliver a final service or a final product, not meeting the requirements that were asked for.
So we've got a couple people responding 40, a couple people 50. We've got a couple of people 70%.
Wow, 70% is pretty high. But, you know, survey says, yeah, about 70%. 70% of all projects fail to meet the requirements that were asked for, right? And there's a number of reasons for that. But if we stop and we think about that, and for those of you that are in attendance that have experience in leading and participating in projects, think of all the efforts, all of the different work groups that are involved, all the time spent, right? So take a little bit of time, just about a few seconds, just to let that digest a bit, right? Because what we're going to do next is we're going to do a breakout session, okay? And maybe you're new to this. Maybe that's why you're taking this session, right? I don't know what project management. I've heard of it, right? And that's okay. That's fine, right? Or maybe you're a professional. You've been doing this for a long time. For those of you that have been doing this for a long time, I want to know, what are some of the challenges that you've personally faced when working on projects? What have you seen? What have you experienced to show why projects fail, right? Because 70%, that's a big number, right? So I'm going to give you 8 minutes. We're going to break you out in about, we're going to break you up into teams of 4 or 5. And then please, I ask to give everybody a chance to participate, right? Why do you think some of these projects fail, right? What challenges do you typically face when working on your projects, okay? let's go ahead and we'll have a breakout session. When you get back, we'll pull maybe one or two or a few examples, okay, to share.
All right, I am just putting the questions into the chat. And then I will go ahead and move everyone into your breakout rooms.
Thank you. So I'm interested, if you wouldn't mind, in briefly, actually in the chat, if you can type in some of the challenges that either you faced or examples of why you feel some projects fail based on your experience. And then we'll touch base on a couple because we're pressed for time in this session. But I'm really interested in seeing some of your answers, seeing some of your thoughts on this. That's a good one. Scope change, not properly defined, right? Change in direction during your project. The team creating the solutions, not the team implementing the solution, right? I hear a lot of lack of communication, lack of resources, the shifting of the priorities within the agencies, resulting in loss of resources, fuzzy objectives, fuzzy goals, unclear goals, competing priorities, and in some cases, competing initiatives, team sharing, right? Whether it could be physical or maybe even sharing information that's needed. No documentation, mistrust. That's a big one, right? So thank you for some of the examples. And as you can see in the chat, wow, it's no wonder, right, that, there are definitely some challenges. But, oh, go ahead, Sarah. Are you going to say something?
No, sorry about that.
Another thing that I've also experienced too is a lot of organizations don't practice project management and don't practice a formal process improvement method. They kind of, what I like to call, they wing it, right? They wing it. So a lot of the skills that you learn in project management and Lean Six Sigma will definitely help out with efficiency. So again, thank you for your participation in this breakout activity. Let's move forward. Okay. So project management, we talked about a project being a temporary endeavor. It has a beginning, it has an end. Project management uses skills, tools, techniques to deliver value, right? Here's something that's interesting. The Project Management Institute was developed in the 1960s primarily, and it's bolded, right? So this is a hint, right, of one of the distinctions, to enhance planning, coordinating, and monitoring, right? So when you think of, for those of you that are project managers, right? Yeah, there's a whole set of great tools in the life cycle of a project to enhance planning, best practices, by the way, planning, coordinating, and monitoring, okay? Lean Six Sigma is a system that was developed from the Toyota production system, also known as Lean, and Six Sigma that was developed and enhanced in Motorola and General Electric. So they're process improvement methods and systems that have helped organizations change the way that they do their work to have the highest quality, lowest cost, and shortest delivery time from the time the customer makes their request. The aim of and intention of Lean Six Sigma is to improve processes with uninterrupted flow. That's what we aim for, to improve the service and product quality and or accuracy. Okay? In Lean Six Sigma, the aim of doing that, we do this by eliminating customer deemed non-value added activities. For those of you that are familiar with process improvement or continuous improvement methods like Lean Six Sigma, we're talking about non-value added activities. It's something that the customer doesn't care for paying for. It's not changing the origin of their, of what we're working on, and we're not doing it right the first time, right? The customer doesn't want us to pay us, don't want to pay us to do rework, right? We want to eliminate uneven workload people and machines and overburdened. We want to eliminate any overburdening of machinery, systems, and our people, and minimize. We want to eliminate variation. So two very powerful process improvement standard systems is what Lean Six Sigma is. Okay. Lean Six Sigma is also a process improvement method. So in your chat, could you please help me out? Because we talk a lot about processes. What's a process? You helped me out with the project, right? You helped me out. What is a project? And you nailed it, right? It's a temporary endeavor, has a beginning and an end. What's a process? Thoughts? Bingo. Right on the money, Catherine. Yep. Yeah. Bingo. A series of steps to create something, right? Yeah. It's a series of steps that turn an input into an output. So from a Lean Six Sigma perspective, when we hear the term continuous improvement, what are we continuously trying to improve? Our processes. We're thank you, steps and steps that achieve a goal or procedure, right? We're continuously trying to eliminate all of these pain points within the series of working tasks that get in the way of us providing what the customer or the recipient of our outputs want, right? What their requirements are. So that's what we're continuously trying to meet that, right? So we briefly went over at a high level what project management was. We briefly went over at a high level what Lean Six Sigma is. What I'd like for you to do is we're going to do another breakout session. Based on what we've gone through so far and your own experience, because we have a mixture of folks here, what do you think the key differences are between project management and Lean Six Sigma? So let's spend about 8 minutes to have some dialogue on that. Okay? And I'll do a share screen. Yeah, you can turn on your audio, please. Turn on your little microphone. That way everyone can hear. And please give everybody a chance to participate during this breakout session.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and put everyone into the breakout rooms now. There you go, Nathan.
All right. Okay. So we briefly have time to go over maybe a couple of examples of key differences. Could we please share on the chat some of the key differences that you've discussed? I'm interested in finding out what you've shared in your chat room. Doesn't have to be lengthy. Maybe key points that you talked about. Yeah. Project management's, projects have an end. Lean processes continue. Being and Six Sigma is continuous. Yeah, right on. And we're going to get a little bit more in depth on that too. Implements new. Existing. Well, we'll learn more about that because Lean Six Sigma also implements new too. Very schedule-driven Lean, if not incorporated up front, can cause others to think that it was a waste of time. Yeah, good, great insight, everyone. Thank you. All right, let's move forward. Thank you. for the reminder too. Okay, so at the end of this session, I'm going to we're recording this, so you're gonna be able to at some time be able to see this on video. But I'm also going to email Sarah Lynn the deck too as well. So because I'm not going to read everything on here, but when we got let's say Lean Six Sigma, Lean Manufacturing, Project Management, from scope, right? As far as scope of work, project management, it could be a small endeavor, or it can be a very large, complicated endeavor with multiple sets of series of tasks, uh, uh, work group technology rollouts, things of that nature, where lean is focused on a single process, right? So the example might be, I have a pizza making process, and I'm not going to combine the pizza making process with making a t-shirt, because there's a different set of steps. And if you bunch all those different steps into one another, it's going to be confusing, right? So when the scope is a little different, right? Uh, in a project management, it could be a quick project. It could last a few years. Typically in Lean Six Sigma, we want to find out what the issue is in a series of tasks, and come up with an improvement that we can implement right away, right? Whether it's the next day, the next week, anything longer than 3 months is high effort. So we try to keep our solutions and our implementations quick, right? The cost can be predetermined for the most part in project management. You have a predetermined solution, right? Whereas in Lean Six Sigma, you're looking at some of your improvements. The aim is to go for low costs with little budget. The key that I would take away from here in this session right here would be the objective, right? So one distinction that you can look at right away to clearly distinguish is, usually in project management, you have a predetermined solution. In Lean Six Sigma, we don't know what the true solution is until we perform root cause analysis, right? So key distinction between the two. Project management, predetermined solution. Lean Six Sigma, we don't know what the solution is yet until we do some investigation and some digging, okay? The deliverables for both, could have a system. In project management, it could be a system that's rolled out, a program that's rolled out, something that's being built. And then a deliverable is an improvement that's made in lean manufacturing. And they're both different disciplines. You have a body of knowledge, Project Management Institute under project management. In this example, we've got the Toyota production system. That's the body of knowledge. So when you're thinking about these bodies of knowledge, these different professions, we want to think about, and I've worked with organizations where we get different contractors that come in, right? And it gets confusing to employees, right? With all of these different phases, such as change management, ADCAR, and or the project management life cycle phases, plan, do, check, act, define, measure. It gets all over the place. So what I'd like to ask is, what is the intention of the discipline, right? What is the intention of project management? Project management focuses on proving the success rate of projects, whereas in Lean Six Sigma focuses on providing the highest quality, lowest cost to make the work with the shortest lead times on the specific set of work tasks. The intention of project management is to focus on how to plan and execute a project, where we aim at, in Lean Six Sigma, reducing customer deemed non-value added work activities in the workplace. Where project management focuses on completing a project by a specific deadline. Lean Six Sigma focuses on projects that have a continuous control phase. Okay, I'm going to briefly go over, for those of you that aren't familiar with the life cycle of a project, the phases. They got, I'm just going to introduce you to the phases for those of you that are not familiar with it, because there's a number of great tools that can go within each phase. But to improve the success rate, the intention to succeed, to improve the success rate of a project, instead of winging it, right? Kind of doing this and just going out and implementing, You've got the initiation phase up front, where you've got a lot of pre-work that's done to determine what the requirements are, and then you usually have a project charter that comes out. You use your project charter to help you create a plan, right, with milestones and deliverables. There's a number of tools that you can use in that phase, and then you execute the plan. Once you execute the rollout, you monitor it while you're going through execution and towards control. And then you have a close, right, with the project management type project. In Lean Six Sigma, we use a problem-solving method, right? Primarily, the method that's used in Lean Six Sigma is defining the problem, what it is, right? Similar to the initiation phase, but here we're looking at the problem within the set of work tasks. And then we measure the performance of the work task. How is it performing, right? And how much of a problem do we have in the set of work tasks? And then based on our measurement and our observations, we analyze to perform what is the true source of the problem. Then we come up with improvements, right? Our solution isn't until we get into past the analyze phase, right? And then once you improve the series of work tasks, then you put some control tools in place to make sure we don't go back to the old ways of doing our work. And it's a continuous cycle. Again, it's used to resolve the sources of problems within work tasks, to meet customer requirements, to lower labor cost and materials, and to lower delivery time. So getting close to the end, but just a quick professional comparison. Project managers, they're considered experts at correctly implementing successful projects, making an impact on that 70%, right? We use these tools not to fall into that 70% failure rate. They use the advanced planning, coordinating, and monitoring practices, okay? They reduce costs because there's costs associated with rolling out projects, especially projects that fail, right? So they reduce organizational costs by ensuring solutions are implemented with the most efficient and effective way possible. Whereas Lean Six Sigma practitioners, you can think of a Lean Six Sigma practitioner as a business detective. I like to do that sometimes with my students in class. Think of yourself as a detective, right? An archaeologist, right? You're digging. They investigate why a process is not working right, or why a process is not working to its potential. And in the early stages, these business detectives, they don't know exactly what they'll find until they do some digging, right? They reduce labor and material costs by solving true sources of work task problems that can cause customers to seek elsewhere for their products and services if these issues continue to be overlooked, okay? So how do these disciplines work well together? How can they complement each other? Well, you've got a whole suite of complementary tools that can be used during the define, measure, analyze, improve, and control phase of the continuous improvement Lean Six Sigma problem-solving model that we can pull from project management and vice versa. We can use a number of Lean Six Sigma tools that can help during the initiation, planning, execute, monitoring, and controlling phase of a project So I heard somebody, and I didn't hear, I saw somebody mention in an instant message that sometimes we have fuzzy, unclear objectives, right? And then I also heard about sustainment, or SOL sustainment. So we can utilize the control, the monitoring and some of the monitoring and some of the project management tools during the control phase of a Lean Six Sigma project, right? Because by that time we determined a solution. Once we determine our solution, we can use some project management practices to keep that control and sustainment. For the project management projects, if you have very fuzzy, unclear goals and objectives, we can utilize some of the tools such as a critical to quality tree analysis or a number of tools to help clarify and tighten up that scope, right? So that we're laser focused. So in closing, both both disciplines, both skill sets prove a great advantage to an organization. These skill sets are highly sought after, and what a unique set of skills to have. Just to have a project management certificate or a Lean Six Sigma certificate or experience, but even more so if you have experience with both, because you can lean on both. Okay. So I'll be sending this later, but these are just some upcoming courses that we've got coming soon, and questions for registration, for registrations on the course. Oh, excuse me, but I want to leave some time here for Sarah.
Yeah. Go ahead, do your overview, Nathan, and then I'll close it out.
So in closing, this is what we learned today. We went over project management, an overview, Lean Six Sigma, talked about process improvement. We learned the differences, the similarities, and how they complement one another. So thank you. I'll leave it to Sarah, and if we have time for questions and answers afterwards.
Yeah. So thank you, Nathan, for being here. Actually, here, I have to put my camera back on. There we go. Thank you for being here. I love this. I especially love the idea of Lean Six Sigma as practitioners, as business detectives. You know, it helps explain why I'm so interested, and I find it so fascinating. I did launch a short feedback poll. Please go ahead and fill that out. We want to make sure when we are developing this type of program that we are developing things that are engaging and useful for all of you. Again, I want to thank Nathan for doing this session today. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here just for those folks who are watching this after the fact. But we do have a couple of minutes if people have any questions for Nathan. We also have here on the line Christopher Sellers, who is my counterpart who manages our project management program. So I will go ahead and stop the recording.